What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my channel for those who are new subscribers. My name is Amanda. Nice to meet you guys. My channel is all about body positivity, and we like to challenge ourselves here, and we like to work out, and we like to eat, and we like to track our macros, but we also like to live a balanced lifestyle. I've competed in bikini competitions many times before, and I've also competed in a powerlifting meet, so I'm kind of like a hybrid of both here. And with the powerlifting meet and my knowledge of training and different kinds of compound movements, squats, bench, and deadlifts to be particular, I suppose, a lot of people started to get interested in powerlifting. But I also have a lot of workout beginners on the channel, I feel like, and a lot of different people that are at different levels of their fitness journeys. But a lot of people all can benefit from a squat tutorial. So that is what we're going to do today. I'm going to teach you exactly how I go about squatting, different kinds of form, equipment that you'll need or not need, things like that, how to progress a little bit, and then anything you guys want to know about squats, we're going to talk about in this workout. So what I'm going to do is get to the gym, and then I'll do a voiceover for you guys over the squat footage just so you guys hear it more clearly. So thank you guys for being a part of this video. I hope it's informative, I hope it's helpful, and we're going to start the video right here in the kitchen. I'm going to show you guys equipment that I use for squatting. So let's get started. Equipment that I recommend when you're squatting is a lifting belt. This is one that I got it from liftinglarge.com. I'm almost positive bodybuilding.com is a really good one that I just got my boyfriend Brian. It's a lever belt, so that just means that it goes around your waist and it attaches right here, and then it's a lever, so it just levers like that and then it sticks. So what this is for is to stabilize your core. So when you're squatting, people think that squatting is for your glutes and for your legs. Sure it is, but the number one thing that squatting helps with is to have a strong and stable core. A lot of people argue that you don't need a lifting belt to have a strong and stable core. It actually is beneficial to you to not lift with a belt. They're not wrong, that's very true. Squatting without a belt actually helps you to remember to stabilize your core more, and I highly recommend actually lifting without one for quite some time. But if you are working up to heavier weight, I recommend that once you get in a 80 to 85% of your 1 rep max range, which some of you might be starting to do and some of you might not even be close to doing that ever, that's when I would recommend a lifting belt, because it just really helps you keep that stabilized and it helps to prevent some injuries as well. There's different kinds of belts you can get, but that one is my favorite just because it's easy to get on, easy to get off. You can also get a belt that has a prong. It's a prong belt. It's just like a regular belt where you put it in the hole and then you tighten it and stuff like that. You don't need it if you're squatting with lighter weight. You should actually really focus on stabilizing your core, and we will talk about that. Another thing you guys have seen me put on in my videos are knee sleeves. So these knee sleeves are the Slingshot knee sleeves. You can get them on bodybuilding.com as well. Bodybuilding.com ships things to you super quickly. These are a size medium. I wear them again when I'm lifting a little bit heavier. You might not be lifting heavy, you might not ever lift heavy, and you don't necessarily need these, but they're really just to keep your knees warm. They help you a little bit in terms of getting heavier weight up because your knees are warm and they're slightly stabilized. They're not as thick as some other ones. The ones that I wear on my knee, they're super thick. They're called the ST Strong sleeves. These are the Slingshot regular sleeves, I guess you could say. They're not as tight and you can just slip them on. It's not that easy. I'll show you guys at the gym. You've seen me do it before. I would recommend them again if you're squatting a little bit heavier. Another thing I recommend to get if you guys are focusing on squatting and compound lifting often are some squat shoes. So these are Nike Romaleos. I talked about them in the past. They just have a little bit of a heel on them and they're flat. So that just means that if you have poor ankle mobility, it helps you, I guess, put you in a better position for a squat. Everyone's different, honestly, and if you do have poor ankle mobility, I also squat in Chucks every once in a while, some Converse. Those are flat shoes. You should never squat in running shoes or anything like that. I have Ultra Boosts, I have NMDs, I have just regular Nike, Adidas running shoes. Don't ever squat in those just because it throws off your balance because the shoe is not flat. It's kind of like this, and then you either rock forward or backward, and then you don't want that. So either way, you want a flat shoe when you're squatting. Another thing you guys almost always see me wear when I'm squatting is a wrist wrap. So these are from Barbell Brigade. Essentially what you do is put your thumb in here, you wrap it around super lightly until you can grab the edge, unwrap it, make it taut, and then wrap it around your wrist and it's supposed to kind of hurt a little bit actually. And it's like this, so it stabilizes your wrist, and when you're squatting, your wrists are like this very, very often. So this is gonna cause a lot of pain in your wrist if you don't stabilize them, and if you're squatting often, and if you're squatting heavy, it might cause you some issues, and it helps to stabilize your wrist. For me, my left wrist I broke back in May, so it just helps my wrist stay stabilized and I feel a little bit safer. So those are some things I recommend, but you don't need any of them. None of them. We're gonna start that tutorial off right now, and I'll show you guys what to do without any of those pieces of equipment. So when you're setting up for the squat, what you're going to do is keep your feet completely under the bar. Your midfoot is your center of gravity, so you're gonna want the middle of your foot to be directly underneath the bar when you set up. So there's two different types of squats that you can do. One of them's gonna be high bar position, and one of them's gonna be low bar position. If you guys watch my videos, you see that I almost always do the low bar position. So that just means that I have my wrists tight to the bar. That's how I like to keep my hands, and it just helps me feel more powerful out of the bottom when my hands are as narrow as possible wrapped around the bar. I don't put like a few fingers around the bar, my whole entire fingers go around the bar and my thumb goes around it, and I squeeze it as hard as possible. High bar is essentially just when the bar sits on your traps, and low bar is when the bar sits right on your rear delt. So it's just gonna be a little bit lower of a position. Some of you guys might be doing high bar. The majority of people start with high bar. That's what I did as well. But having a low bar position might work better for some people. The length of your torso, the length of your legs, everyone's bodies are different. Everyone's bodies performs better in different scenarios. So I would recommend trying both and seeing what feels better. For most people, for like 95% of people, you do get more glute and hamstring activation out of a low bar position. A low bar position, your wrist might be a little bit bent backwards, a lot more than normal, and you might not feel as comfortable and flexible with that kind of position, but trust me, after you try it a little while, it will likely feel better for you. But again, there's some people that still do high bar squat. I'm pretty sure Matt Ogus, if you guys look at his form, he high bar squats. I personally low bar squat. A lot of people do as well, so I would give both of them a try, see how they feel. So once you have your hand positioning on the bar and your feet are in the right spot, the way to get the bar out of the rack, there is a specific way. I always just tell people to just squeeze your glutes in. Really, it's not about pushing your legs up and like quadding the bar out of the rack. All you have to do is take your glutes, squeeze them. Basically, you're just pushing your hips forward, and from there, the bar will unrack and it'll just come out. So I also don't recommend to just like jump out of the bar or jump out of the rack right away. I would recommend squeezing your glutes, pushing your hips forward, hanging there for a second, letting the bar settle, and then you're gonna do your walk back. A walk back is, I like personally a two-step walk back. It just helps me conserve energy and not put too much energy in my walk back. So I have the bar, squeeze my glutes, it's out of the rack. I just take my right foot or left foot, whichever one, I take one of them, put it back into the position that it's supposed to be in. I take my other foot, put it back into the position it's supposed to be in. From there, you can adjust your feet a little bit if you would like to. Foot positioning for a squat is all going to depend on the individual again. However, I always recommend to just go about shoulder width apart. Some people go further. I wouldn't really recommend going into too much more. Keeping your feet around shoulder width apart with your toes slightly pointed out might be a good position for most people. The toe pointing out just a little bit, not too far pointed out, but just slightly. The next thing that most people, almost everybody forgets this point. You have to remember to breathe. Breathing is a huge, huge, huge part of squatting. And when I first started, I did not breathe at all, but what you're supposed to do is take a deep breath in. So you're gonna be pushing your abdomen out, taking a deep breath in and holding in as much air as you can, and that gives you more power when you're in the hole. So if you don't have a lot of breath when you're at the bottom, you're not going to be as powerful shooting out of the top. So you have a lot of power when your core is engaged, and that deep breathing and keeping that breath held inside your abdomen helps you embrace your core. So again, with the belt is going to help you do that as well, because you're going to have something to push out against. So it just helps you remember to activate your core a little bit more. So you're going to take your position, deep breath in, and then you're going to go down. The other biggest mistake I see people do is that they don't start by pushing their hips back. Some people start by pushing their knees out forward. Some people start by just like shooting their hips back too far. You don't want to do any of that. So you want to keep your core tight, and then you want to push your hips back first, but while keeping an upright body position and a neutral spine. But then once your hips shoot back and then you kind of go down a little bit, and then your knees can break. The biggest thing, another big cue that I like, is pelvis tucked underneath. So that just helps you keep your spine neutral, and that's going to be huge for the safety of your lower back. So another topic that we're going to talk about is how deep to squat. So in order to maximize hypertrophy gains and strength gains, you do want to hit a parallel or slightly below parallel squat. You want your hips to go just below your knee joint, and that's how deep that you should be squatting, guys. So I know and I realize that not everybody is going to be able to do that on their first try. The more that you practice this, guys, the easier it's going to be. So just practice going in deep, making sure you're doing that with the right form, and then it'll come with time. So just a quick recap, we're going to put our hands as close as possible, and then we're going to get under the bar, and we're going to be in either a high bar position or a low bar position. It's up to you, it's up to how your body feels. I personally like low bar positioning, and then we're going to squeeze our hips and squeeze our glutes to get out of the bar. You're going to do a 2-step walkout or a 3-step walkout depending. One foot back, other foot back, ready to go. You're going to take a deep breath. Hold it in and push your abdomen out against your belt, or just push your abdomen out in general. And then from there, you're going to break at the hips and then break at the knees. Go down, go below parallel, keep your knees out, keep your knees in the position that your toes are in. Once you're in the hole, if you have a deep breath, you should propel up a little bit anyway, right when you're at the bottom of the hole. Keep the pressure equal on your entire foot, because your entire foot's gonna give you more power than just one part of your foot. Push out of the hole, but really you're gonna be thinking about pushing your entire body up as well. Keeping your upper body tight is gonna help with that. Keeping your core tight is gonna help with that. And then you've completed the squat correctly, which is awesome. Guys, a lot of this info I took from the video that I usually direct people to when it comes to a squat tutorial. Lane Norton, How to Squat. It's on bodybuilding.com's YouTube channel. I took a lot of this stuff from him just because there's so many squat tutorial videos out there, but I know you guys have been asking for me to put it on my channel, and there's no reason for me not to. So I just wanted to make sure I got everything. This isn't new information, but it's just like me presenting it in a different way to you guys, but I just wanted to make sure I covered all the bases. So if you guys feel like you missed something in this video, make sure you guys go check that one out. I will link it below in the description box. One of the best pieces of advice that I've ever gotten for squatting is to pretend that lightweight is heavyweight. So make every single rep, regardless of whether or not you even have a bar on your back, pretend that that rep is gonna be one heavy rep. And then that'll make you purposefully do every single cue correctly. You guys aren't gonna be good at this the first time you're squatting. You might be scared of the bar, you might be scared of injuring yourself, and that's okay. You have to just put yourself in the position and do your best to learn everything you can before you start squatting. And you're not gonna be good at it the first time. You're not gonna be an expert at squatting the first time you squat, just like with anything. And don't let that stray you away from the bar at all, because it is a really great compound movement that's going to activate your whole entire body, and it's just an amazing movement, and I personally absolutely love it. And I think once you guys perfect it and you get excited about it and you get better at it, you will be so excited. So practice makes perfect. The more times that you practice it, even if it's with light weight, it's gonna help you get better at it once you start adding heavier weight. If you guys enjoy this squat tutorial, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. It really helps me get the video out there and have other people see it. If you guys think that someone might benefit from this video, make sure you guys share it out to your friends. And if you guys enjoyed this video and you're excited for more, we are gonna do a deadlift and bench press tutorial in the future. So make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel below, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.